All right, Shalom, Shalom. Kahalayam La, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone that rule and teach well. Much peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity. Shalom. This the brother Batak back again through the spirit with another lesson. The Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. Let me just, um, this article came out on December 31st, and there's another one I was going to visit, just to read a couple read a couple sentences from the article. Um, It says Dutch Queen orders digital ID requirement for banking, school enrollment, and vaccine verification. So we are getting closer for Esau to establish his full digital system, which ultimately, at the end of the day, it's preparing you for the MOTB. It's getting you ready for what they want to bring very soon, which is going to be the MOTB system that is going to be all digital, and everything is going to be your ID is going to be digital, your medical records is going to be all of these things are going to be inside of your micro chip. You see, and now they're moving forward um, with digital IDs to ultimately get you prepared for the new system and get you ready. So I typed in chat, how does a digital ID affect a society? And I was trying to find another way to phrase that question so the chat can give me some good answers. So let's see what it says. It says a digital ID, a government or institution issued digital identity used to verify who you are online and sometimes offline. Because you will have these elites. They say, oh, social media is a problem because of this, because of that, and people's information is being stolen, and you know, you need to have a digital ID to access social media so we can track you, and you can't say anti-sim things online, you can't spread hate, no hate speech, and those people that do these type of things, quote take quote unquote, on the internet can be found because of their digital ID and locked up, and they're already locking people up for what they post on the internet. So if they make everybody required to have a digital ID to log onto social media, then if you say anything online, you're liable to get arrested. We know we preach the Bible, we preach the gospel, and if we was to preach the gospel and we have a digital ID, let's say hypothetically, um, they will find you and lock you up for preaching the Bible or for hate speech or whatever bullshit that they want to come up with, and that's just an example. So just to show you how much control that a digital ID would give them over you and over social media. So it says a digital ID, a government or institution issued a digital identity used to verify who you are online and sometimes offline, can deeply shape a society for better or for worse. It its impact depends less on the technology itself and more on how it's governed, limited, and protected. I'm gonna skip the I am gonna skip the the potential benefits of a digital ID because of course they're gonna try to make it, they're gonna throw some cream on top of it, some icing on top of it to make it sound like it's something that you want. They're gonna make it sound tingling to the ears, but really it's so much darker than what you think. So let's look at the major risks and dangers because this is something that they want to gloss over. They don't want you to know the dangers that you're signing up for. They just want to tell you all of the sweet things so it tickles your ears. So it says surveillance and loss of privacy. If centralized, that means everybody has one and it's mainstream and everybody has to get one. A digital ID can allow tracking of movement, purchases, health data, beliefs, linking all aspects of life into one profile. This creates a, I'm not sure how you say this word, I'm going to try my best, panoption effect. Panopticon. People self censor because they feel watched. Government or corporate overreach. Digital IDs can be used to deny services for political, religious, or social reasons. So what does that mean? Oh, you can't log into social media. You can't get this job. Um you can't use public services. You can't use the bus. You can't use public transport. You see, so forth and so on. Enforce social conformity in authoritarian systems, it becomes a tool of control, not service. See? And that's what they want. They want full control. Exclusion and coercion. It says if participation is mandatory, those who refuse or can't access technology may be locked out. Elderly, poor, disabled, or rural populations are most at risk. Rights can quietly become conditional privileges, and that's what they're not going to tell you. That is not what they're going to tell you, man. That they can easily strip away your rights. Social and psychological effects. It says shift in power. Power moves away from individuals and toward governments, tech companies, data brokers, and that's what you're seeing now. You're seeing all of these tech companies taking over everything. You know, all these data centers that's being built. Why are all these data centers being built? Because they need to have they're trying to fuel. They're getting the infrastructure in place for this next system. It says society becomes more permission based rather than rights based, and that gives them total control. Behavior control. When identity is tied to access, people may conform out of fear of losing services. You conform to what the government says, or guess what? You're going to lose your service. You're going to lose your ability to log into the internet. You're going to lose your ability to use public services. You're going to lose your ability, in this case, to your bank. See, the Dutch Queen is ordering digital ID requirements for banking, school enrollment, and vaccine verification. So you're not going to be able to have no access to your bank account, school, or anything if you don't have if you refuse to get a digital ID, or in this case take the MOTB, because ultimately those that don't follow the system are going to be locked outside of it, and you're basically going to have to fend for yourself. But the elect of the Lord Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua are going to be secure. So it says free expression and dissent can decline. You're not going to be able to express yourself. You're not going to be able to do anything because they're going to have total control over everything. And if you do anything bad or out of the norm or against what they want you to do or against their rules, you will be potentially face public scrutiny, or you will be locked out of services or even locked up yourself as a whole. It says trust shifts from community relationships to digital verification. So that's all I'm going to read on that. Let's read this. It says Queen Maxima of the Netherlands used her appearance at the World Economic Forum's Davos summit to articulate what many critics say the global elite have been planning for years: a future in which a digital ID is required to access nearly every aspect of life. Speaking before an audience of bankers, technocrats, and elected power brokers, the Dutch Queen stated plainly that digital IDs will soon be necessary not only for financial services, but also for determining vaccination status, enrolling children in school, and receiving government subsidies. To supporters, the remarks were framed as practical modernization. To skeptics, they sounded like a declaration. See? Because these devils come out and they tell you what they want to do. It says when banking, education, healthcare, compliance, and state assistance are all tied to one centralized digital credential, identity stops being about verification and starts becoming about control. And that's the point. We're warning our people about this new system that Esau wants to set up. A system like this doesn't merely identify citizens, it decides who may participate in society and who may be quietly excluded. Critics warn that once access to money is conditional, freedoms become theoretical. Once school enrollment depends on a digital profile, dissent carries consequences. Once vaccination status is permanently embedded into an identity system, medical choice ceases to be private. In this framework, refusal doesn't require punishment. It simply results in denial of access. So this is what we are warning our people about, man. This is the MOTB system that Esau wants to put into place. He doesn't want to put it in place. He's putting it into place, man. It starts with the digital IDs, man. That's a part of it. It says Ireland to require all citizens to use digital ID to access social media. The Irish government has announced plans to push for EU-wide mandatory digital ID verification for social media access in a bid to stamp out online anom- I'm sorry, anonymity. Anonymity. Probably saying that word. Forgive me. It's a tongue twister for me. Um, Tenacity Simon Harris says the government plans to use Ireland's EU presidency to force through EU-wide rules that would keyword force users to confirm their identities before posting or interacting online. So those are two examples of how a digital ID is going to affect your society. Um, Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1, woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. So these things that they're pushing out, they have prescribed them. That means they have pre-written them. They have been pre-planned for this new MOT mark of the beast system. And ultimately they're gonna bring it down, they're gonna bring it to pass. This is all prophecy. Isaiah 10 and 1. What sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws. It's the NLT version, by the way. So Esau's laws is unfair and ultimately going to give him more control over everything. And this is what they wanted. It says, cursed are those who make evil decisions and writers who make the records of their cruel acts. I don't really like that translation. I'm going to read the AMP. It says, let me see what it says. Woe, judgment is coming to those judges who issue evil statutes and to those magistrates who constantly record unjust and oppressive decisions. And that's what we're seeing. That is what we're living in. This is what we're warning the Israelites about. The elect, the hopeful elect of the Lord. We're warning you about these digital IDs, that it's more than meets the eye. Let's look up what that means. More than meets the eye. See what that says. See what that means real quick. More than meets the eye meaning. All right, more than meets the eye means a situation, person, or object has hidden depths, complexity, or significance that isn't obvious at first glance. See? At first glance, you'll say, oh, digital IDs are a good idea because of this, that, because of that. But when you really dive deep into the depths of it, the complex of it, you get to the nitty gritty, if you will, you will see that this system is oppressive. You'll see that this system is controlling and that it's not designed to benefit you. It's designed to control you. It's not about benefit, whatever benefits you. It's about what benefits big brother. It says suggesting there are underlying facts, motives, or details beyond simple appearances requiring deeper investigation to understand fully. Exactly. You need to do a deep investigation into digital IDs and see how it's going to affect you, because this is not something that they want to do. This is something that they're going to do. It implies something is more interesting, complicated, or involved than it initially seems. This is key aspects of the meaning. Hidden layers. There's a deeper story or meaning beneath the surface. Complexity. The issue isn't as simple as it appears to be. See? Hidden talents or slash facts. A person might have undisclosed skills, or a situation might involve secret elements. And when we're dealing with Esau, it's always, everything is always more than meets the eye. You gotta accomplish a diligent search when it comes to Esau. This is the book of Proverbs 14 and 15. It says, the simple believeth every word. See, you cannot be simple minded in the times we're living in now. You cannot be some simple-minded individual in this information era. We are literally living in the era of, um, we're literally living in the information age, and you have people that are simple-minded. That means they believe everything that the government may tell them. That is, we're not living in a time to be simple-minded, man. You got to search things out. You got to do, and you got to investigate. You got to do a deep research on some of these things, man. Well, I'm gonna say everything. You got to do deep research on everything, man. You got to look into the crevices, man, because look, these devils is real slick. Proverbs 14 and 15, it says, the simple believeth every word, but the prudent man, the wise man, looketh well to his going. See, the prudent man. Let's look up the word prudent. Prudent, wise, discerning. It says, from Prince Prudent wit knowledge. See, you got to know. Knowing, skilled, sagacious, circumspect. The scriptures speak about be circumspect. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15. It says, see then that ye walk circumspectly. That means be prudent, not as fools, but as wise. See, we're being circumspect because we're watching. We're paying attention to our surroundings. We're paying attention to what laws are being passed. We're paying attention to 6G. We're paying attention to the digital IDs. We're paying attention to all of these things because we're watching. Circumspect, watching your surroundings, scoping things out. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. We're living in the evil days, man. We cannot be simple-minded in these times. If you are simple-minded in the days of evil, you're going to fall victim to the evil schemes that Esau is pushing or he's coming with. Uh, let's see. Rarely in foreseeing country. Look ahead. Oh, look ahead. That's a good another good word for prudent, because we're looking ahead into what? We're looking ahead at ultimately at the prophecies of what's coming down the pipe, what's coming to America. And one of the things that's coming is the what? The MOTB system, which is going to be you're going to be forced. The micro CHIP is going to be made mandatory. The RFID micro CHIP and the or the NFC HIP and or the NFC HIP. See, so that's ultimately what Esau wants to do, and the Lord has commanded us not to take it. So we're looking ahead to the to what's coming, looking ahead at the prophecy. So and it says prepare. So we're preparing. We're preparing for the future. We're preparing for what Esau is bringing. And those that are not prudent, that are simple minded, are not going to be ready when it comes down the pipe. It says an act with foresight because we see what's coming through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah. The Lord has warned us about the evil times and what these devils want to accomplish. And they're not going to be to fully get it done, but they're going to bring that chip, man. Revelation chapter 13, verse 15, it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So if you don't want to follow after this system, that Esau's that's setting up to place, you're gonna be excommunicated. You're gonna be cut off from society. Let's look up that. I think that if I'm not mistaken, that word killed means cut off. Let's see, let me verify that. Let me verify that because something, you know, um, see what that Greek word is. So killed. Let's see.
Strong's G 615. Apartino. Apartino.
Hmm. Kill, death, slay. See. To kill in any way, whatever, to destroy, to allow to perish, metaphorically, to extinguish, abolish. Let me see. See what the root is.
Strong's G 575. Apa. Apa.
I'm not sure if it's this word. I believe this is the right word, if I'm not mistaken, because the definition, the root word is of separation, of local separation, um, of separation of a part from the whole, of any kind of separation of one thing from another, by which the union or fellowship of the two is destroyed. Because ultimately, what you're gonna, if you don't follow the system, you're basically gonna be separated from society. You're gonna be excommunicated. You're gonna be excluded from society. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is the right word. When it's, you know, or is it another word about? I believe that's the right word. That right word. Lord willing, I'm not wrong on that. When it talks about being killed, and when you go to the root, yeah, it says separation. It says a state of separation that is that is of distance, physical, or distance, distance of place, temporal, or distance of time. Uh, so basically, you're gonna be separated from society, man. You're gonna be exed from society. You're not gonna be able to participate in the system. You're not gonna be able to get food. You're not gonna be able to have a job. You're not gonna be able to have a bank account, social media, phones. All of these things are going into this beast system, man. Everything is going digital. and these devils are going to have total control over it. And if you don't have the MOTB, which is the micro C hip, you're going to be X'd out from society, and that's where faith is going to come in for the elect of the Lord. Those that refuse to take the CHIP, they're going to have to just, hey, the Lord's going to provide for his men, man. We don't know exactly how he's going to do it, but we have faith and we believe and we trust in him that he said he's going to provide for his elect, and he's not going to leave. He's not going to leave Jacob defenseless, man. Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. Let me see. NLT. Also, ultimately, those who don't take this RFID micro C hip are going to be put to death. Revelation 13, verse 16, it says, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, which that could be your right hand, left hand. It don't matter. You see? And no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. See? So the word mark comes from the Hebrew word karagma, which means an imprinted mark. Where is it going to be imprinted in or engraved? If you engrave something, that means you're carving something, if you will. Just a stamp, imprinted mark. See, a thing carved. See, a sculpture, graving work. That's what people do to headstones. They engrave them. But in this case, it's going to be something that's going to be inside of your flesh, incisioned into your body. A scratch or itching, a stamp, as a badge of servitude, a sculpture feature, blah blah blah. Charagma. Let's go to the 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 next word, charax, which is a pail or a stake, which is going to be is the hypodermic needle that's going to be used to deliver it. You see, to deliver the small grain of rice, that micro C hip into your flesh. And then when you go to the root, grapho, it describes all of the phases of the micro C hip. Grapho, which means to write. Where is it at? Record. Here it is. To submit, commit to writing things not written, to write down record, because ultimately the micro C hip is going to have all of your records, your medical records, your vaccination status, all of these things are going to be literally inside of the chip, the C hip. You know, of course, of course. Oh, God, really? Okay, so apparently this, you see, you know how you see what it's doing. It's saying that microchips don't store records, but it's a lie, bro. That's a fucking lie. You know, um, trying to ask it I might have to ask that question in a different way, but it's well known that microchips, implanted microchips, have your medical records and they have your digital ID, and they have, you're gonna have be able to access your homes and all of your information through the microchip. So it's well known that it does that. But you see Esau's technology at work. It wants to lie. But the Lord has commanded us not to take the microchip. Let's go read the Revelations. You know, The scriptures speak about making the cuttings in your flesh. Let's get that real quick. Leviticus 19 and 18, or is it no, Leviticus, yeah, 19 and 29. I'm sorry, 28. Cannot read. Leviticus 19 and 28. It says, ye shall make no cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh. So what? The Lord told us don't print no marks on us. Let's go to the Greek, the Hebrew word there. The Hebrew word is kwai kwai, which means what? An incision, imprintment. Didn't the Greek word krognos say imprintment, imprint, something like that? I think it did say imprintment. It says a mark, an incision or gash, a mark. It says, go to the Hebrew lexicon. It says a stigma, a mark branded on the skin. See? So we cannot do that. We're commanded by the Lord not to put no marks upon us. And when you go to the Greek, you will run into that same word for chai-sai stigma. You'll run into stigma once again. This is the Greek chai-sai stigma. Stigma, to stick, prick, a mark branded in, pricked in, cut in, or branded upon the body to ancient Oriental uses. Slaves and soldiers bore the name of their name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, cut into their bodies. And ultimately, that's what Esau's trying to do. He's going to give you that micro C hip and he's going to make you a slave. And you're going to belong to him. It's a badge of servitude. It's a digital all, a digital oil. And it's going to be literally inside of your flesh. That's what 6G is all about. Putting the system, the infrastructure into place to support the RFID micro C hips, man. Because even if you read on the website about 6G, it tells you the purpose of it. For implantables. Implantable what? Chips. So this is what we're warning our people about. Take heed to the micro C hip. Beware of digital IDs, man. Beware of all of these things because they are coming. 2026 may be the year, or a year closer to the micro C hip being made mandatory. Revelations 14 and 9. It says, the doom for the worshippers of the beast. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, that means in your left hand or right hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So those that take the micro C hip are going to die a very grievous death. They also going to receive grievous sores on their bodies because of the micro C hips. These devils know that these C hips can cause cancer. They can cause all kinds of health defects, man. You know, but they know about these things, but they're still going to force them upon you. So those that take the C hip are going to be they're going to die by nuclear destruction. That's why the C hip, the micro C hip has to be made mandatory first before World War III can come, because those that take the C hip are gonna die in the lake of fire, which is what the nuclear World War III. America burning, being on fire, that lake of fire, man. So those that take the C hip are gonna die by the nuclear bombs, the nuclear missiles, and that's the destruction. That's the judgment that the Lord gonna bring to those that take the chip. You're gonna eat a missile, bro. So it behooves you not to, under no circumstances, that goes to me, first and foremost, we don't want to take the chip, bro. We don't want to take the chip. It says, in the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast in his image, and who receiveth and whosoever receiveth this mark of his name. So those that receive that chip are gonna be, you're gonna be burnt the fuck up, man. You're gonna be burnt by nuclear bombs. So this was just another lesson about digital IDs. Beware of digital IDs in the MOTB. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. That might be the title of this lesson. I'm gonna close out by giving all praises and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Shalom.